Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. So I finally got around to filming another makeup tutorial today. So I figured it had been a while since I did a more sort of full glam makeup look. I didn't really know what I was going to film when I sat down, but I sort of revisited some of the things I learned in the Makeup by Ariel masterclass because it's been a while since I've fully put them into practice, and it's just amazing how they work. I mean, it's no surprise, they work so well. And I'm also sharing with you guys a slightly new way to contour, which I just find so easy, and it's really works so well to like get the perfect contour shape. And lashes that I'm hoping will change your life the way they've changed mine. That's all I'm gonna say. They're so good. So if you would like to see how I created this makeup look, then please keep watching. So the primer that I'm going to use today, and one that I've actually been really loving, is the Estee Lauder. So this is the Aqua Brilliant, so it's the Watery Glow Primer. Basically, I feel like anything that's got the word glow in it, I just instantly love. It's such a nice texture. It feels super hydrating on your skin, but it's also really lightweight. I've also become super into wearing primers on their own after my sort of full skincare routine. So I know that's like not a new thing, but I normally would just do like a moisturizer and then leave it if I wasn't gonna put makeup on all day. But at the moment, I love putting a primer on. I just feel like it makes your skin look, I mean, it does basically what they say on the tin, but I don't know, I've just not really done it before. But recently I've got really into it. And this one's amazing to just put on with no makeup because it does leave your skin super glowy. I feel like that was a slightly stressful start to filming. I sat down and I could hear Nelly rummaging around in the background. I was like, what has she got? Got up and she's chewing on a Polaroid and there's ink on the carpet. And I'm like, that can't be good. Anyway, puppies and filming don't mix. They really don't. You've come to, why don't you just get in your bed, chill, just sleep, you know? The stuff you normally do up until literally I have to film, and then you just lose your mind and go wild. So I know that I normally say that I like to do my eyebrows sort of towards the end of the makeup, but for today's look, because I want to bring the eyeshadow up a little bit higher, I am going to do my eyebrows first. And so I'm going to start with, of course, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Freeze. My only tip with this would be, because I did have a few people messaging me saying that they were struggling to get their product to work on top of the brow freeze. And I would say what I do is once I've put it on, I do let it sort of set for like a couple of minutes until I feel like it's hardened and is less wet. And then that's when I go in with my product. So I'm going to fill them in with the Foolproof Brow Powder from Benefit. This is in shade number 3, and I'm going to use just a little eyebrow brush. Oh my god, I'm literally chucking everything over myself today. I'm having one of those like real fumble finger days. Sometimes you sit down to film, you just drop everything. I don't know why, it's really weird. So I'm going to start with the outer shade colour, so it's like two-toned, and then going to go for the darker one. So just for the time being, I'm just going to actually just darken my eyebrow. I'm not going to worry too much about the tail end. I know how I said in my last makeup tutorial that I have shaved the ends of my eyebrows off so I can create that more straight eyebrow, but I actually still prefer to do the tail end sort of the last thing I do with my makeup. I actually did that before. I spent so long on my brows and I got like the perfect tail and it looked amazing, and then I was like, shit, I've got to put foundation on and contour and all that stuff, and then by the time that had all gone on, the brow end just like disappeared and it was quite sad. So I'm going to do something, you guys know me, I do love a simple glam eyeshadow look, and I feel like in this video I'm going to sort of revisit when I did, you know, ages ago I went to Makeup by Ariel's masterclass. I feel like I'm going to use some of the techniques from that for today's eyeshadow look, and I actually might even do a bit of a Kylie Jenner contour today, just because I feel like it's been so long since I've done like a bit more of a full glam, and that one is one of my favourites. So I'm just going to apply a bit of concealer to the crease, and I'm going to blend that sort of up towards my brow and also over my eyelid, but I just like to put it, don't ask me why, I just feel like if you put it there, you can blend in both directions and it just works really well. That concealer is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, but literally any concealer will do. The brushes I'm going to use today, I've actually got this pretty little thing brush set, and they've got some really good brushes. So this is one of these sort of like a big fat sort of brush, which I love for using to blend out concealer. The reason I feel like I like to put it in my crease is because I don't like when my eyelids are covered in concealer anymore. I think that is also sort of stemming from this whole like slightly more natural looking makeup. So yeah, I just feel like I sort of keep it in my crease and I just sort of go back and keep adding, and then I'll blend down towards my lash line just to stop it from looking too heavy. It's so funny, I know I mentioned in one of my recent vlogs that I went and had a yummy lash lift done at Harrods, and it's an absolute game changer. Like, my lashes have never looked better. I can't believe that these are actually my natural lashes, it's mental. But they do now sort of get in the way when you do your makeup. I always feel like that does happen when you have a bit of a lash lift. So that is all of my concealer blended in. As you can see, it's like a nice coverage, it's not too heavy. It's funny, I look back at some of my old videos and even like the concealer part of the, like where you put the eyeshadow, I'm like, wow, why am I putting so much concealer on my eyelid? It's mental. And then obviously I am taking it out sort of like to the corner of my lower lash line just to make sure that that section is all covered. So then I'm going to just set that with Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. So the other reason why I felt semi-inspired to revisit the Kylie Jenner Makeup by Ariel sort of look was I received this e.l.f. Jen Atkin palette. There's this colour which is coming up a lot paler on the camera, but it's so similar to the sort of orange, really sort of paley orange shade that Ariel says that he used on Kylie. And when I saw it, and obviously I knew I wanted to film this video, and I thought, actually, I'm going to use that because I think it's going to be amazing. So there's a bit of a first impressions with this because I hope it's going to look as nice as I think it's going to. So for this, I'm going to use a Spectrum. This is a B06 brush, I think, although actually, maybe. Actually, no, I'm lying. I'm going to use one with slightly more of an angle. So I'm going to use, this is the Eye Naughty Diffuser brush. This is a Huda Beauty one. It's just got a little bit more of an angle on the edge. And I feel like because I'm going to go up into my crease and towards my brow, I like having a little bit of an angle on my brush for that. So yes, I'm literally just going to use this shade and we shall see what it looks like. I've got high hopes for it, but who knows. So as I say, so I'm going to start with the product. I'm going to focus it sort of in that section. So I'm basically right up into the corner of my eyebrow, and then I'm going to bring it along my crease. Right, okay, so I just tried to blend this colour out, but honestly, I just don't think, I mean, it doesn't really look like I've put anything on, which is annoying because actually, it is a really nice colour, but I think it's not going to be right for this. I feel like it's almost too similar to my concealer colour, but that's fine. That's not a problem. We can adapt and change. Maybe I will try. I'm going to stick to the same palette because, you know, I'm going to try this one next to it, which I know is a hell of a lot darker. But I'm going to go in sparingly, and we shall see what we get out of it. Okay, there we go. This is looking good. I still remember how like blown my mind was when I went to that masterclass, and I just realised like how much he focused the product into the eyebrow. I don't know, I guess I suppose before I went to that I never thought of putting eyeshadow was sort of so far up, but that's probably because I'm not a makeup artist and I haven't had any sort of makeup training. So I just always thought that, I don't know, I guess that eyeshadow should always just stick to your lid maybe. This is actually a really nice shade. It's like a really subtle brown that actually, I thought it was going to be darker, but you can really build it up, which is so nice. I am taking it basically up to my eyebrow and then along, and I'm going to bring it down to the corner as well. I'm kind of going to create like a little bit of a sort of triangle on the corner of my eye just to give it a nice soft blend. That was the other thing actually as well, is he brought the eyeshadow really like quite far out, because then when he goes in with sort of the foundation and the contour and all that sort of stuff, it blends all really in together and it works really well. I'm actually loving this eyeshadow colour though. What do you guys think? I think that's so nice. It's such a nice tone. So I'm just finishing off the other eye, and then what I'm doing is I'm just literally lightly dusting what's ever left on my brush over the rest of my lid, but not like, I'm not adding any more because I don't want, I like that it sort of creates like a soft ombre sort of look with the sort of concealer and setting powder that was left on my lid. Right, so that is basically what I'm going to do for my eyeshadow, which is super simple, super easy. Obviously, it wouldn't be a Sarah Ashcroft makeup tutorial if it wasn't a really easy eye makeup look. Definitely vibing that eyeshadow colour though, so that palette I really recommend. So that's the Let Elfing Do This palette, in case you guys were wondering the name. Okay, don't hate me. I am going to use my Morphe Filter Effects Soft Focus Foundation, which I know it's not available in the UK and I don't understand why. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get in contact with the PR and I'm going to find out why this is not available in the UK yet, because as far as I know, I still get messages from you guys telling me that it's not available, which I'm really sorry, because I genuinely only started using it because I just assumed that it was going to be available in the UK. And it's annoying because it is honestly like one of my favourite foundations, possibly my favourite foundation. So leave it with me. I will put it on my Instagram story as soon as I find out. So yes, I will make sure I share the knowledge of what is going on with it, because it just needs to come to the UK. I don't understand why they're withholding it from the UK. So the brush I'm going to put it on with is the Morphe E63 brush, and then I'm going to focus the product as always with my foundation. I'm going to start with it, majority of it basically, in the sort of centre of my face, and then I'll buff it out. Maybe if any of you guys aren't from the UK and you also have had the chance to try this foundation, if you want to share any sort of like dupes that you found, then let's all share the love of this foundation and other ones that maybe do the job. One thing I would say though about the foundation is it does have a very similar finish, I think, to the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk one. But obviously I know that's more expensive, but that is the sort of vibe that you get from this one, I'd say. I'm going to start by putting some contour on, and for this I'm going to use, so this is the Nude Sticks Bondi Bay, my favourite thing to contour with at the moment. It's so good. Although I keep putting the lid on without twisting it down and it's getting stuck in the top, so don't do what I did and smush it in. It's just really annoying me that it's doing that. The side of my face, and that's when obviously the whole foundation, the contour, and then obviously where the eyeshadow is sort of blend really nicely together, and that was one thing that Ariel said in his masterclass that he loved doing. And then for contour, I'll say this before I make the face, when I go like this, I'm going to take the contour down to like where this line stops, and I feel like that's quite a good place to know where to put your contour, especially if you're going for like more of the glam look. So you can see what I mean? This is hilarious. So like literally where that line is, I've taken my contour to that. And that just, I don't know, I just feel like it works well as a guide to know the best place to put your contour to really accentuate your cheeks. I only really do this though if I'm going for more of a fuller glam look, because obviously it does make it look a lot more sort of contoured, but that's what we're going for today, so that's fine. So now I've got my contour on. As you can see, it does sit like sort of perfectly where my like round cheek sort of starts. I'm gonna go in with some concealer, so I'm gonna use, this is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in Custard. And then I'm also going to use, actually I'm going to put this on with a brush, I think. So I'm just going to apply it to the back of my hand. This is actually a Tom Ford eyeshadow brush, but it's a really good flat surface area for concealer. This NARS concealer is just so good though, isn't it? I feel like it's just, I always come back to it. I have like periods of not using it and then I'll come back to it and I'm just like, oh, it's so good. And also it would seem wrong to not use it because it is what Ariel used in his masterclass. So I'm focusing, as you can see, the majority of the concealer in the middle section of my face. I am going to take a little bit up under my eye and then also on my chin. And then on top of that, I'm also going to add, just for some extra brightening, because you guys know me, I love my under eye brightness, I'm going to use, so this is the e.l.f. Flawless Brightening Concealer. So this is in the shade Light, and it's got a really nice sort of pinky undertone. I'm going to focus it, literally, just a tiny bit under my eyes. So I'm just literally putting it there where I want sort of more of the brightness. So I'm going to use two different blenders here, one for my contour and then I'm going to use the one that had the foundation on for my concealer. And then when you blend in the contour, especially this bit here, which is obviously the bit that's slightly lower down, make sure you blend it in an upwards motion, just so you're not dragging your face down. That's always sort of, you run the risk when you take your contour down a little bit lower. And then this bit is sort of where you want to blend the contour into the eyeshadow. I'm just going to take whatever sort of is left on that beauty blender as well and just bring it down my neck. Then I'm going to go back in with the beauty blender that had the foundation on and I'm going to blend out the concealer. But as you can see, putting that contour where I put it, it really accentuates the sort of dip in your cheek, which I quite like. I think when I'm doing a bit more of a stronger contour, the only bit I'm not going to blend in yet is just that concealer that's on my nose, because I'm going to wait until I've added a tiny weeny bit of a nose contour before I blend that bit. For nose contour, of course, I'm using my favourite, and that's the little yellow one that I use, which I will link below. It's from Beauty Bay, this one. I've massively stopped doing a nose contour whenever I do my makeup at the moment, but then when I do one, I'm like, oh, it makes such a difference. Like, I feel like it does bring it all together really nicely, especially when you've taken the eyeshadow into your eyebrow, because then you can sort of bring the nose contour this way as well, and then it all just kind of comes in together. And then I'm just going to buff that out. So this is the Huda eye build and blend brush that I use all the time just to do my nose contour blending. Okay, now we're on to my favourite part of makeup, which is setting my face. I just love the powder section of makeup so much. I'm going to set my face first with just some Laura Mercier translucent under my eyes, and then I'm just going to use, this is just the B concealer brush that I always use for my powder. The whole setting before baking thing as well stems from that Makeup by Ariel masterclass, if you hadn't watched my video, because he basically said that you need to set your face before you bake so that it doesn't go cakey. But yeah, I learned honestly so much from that masterclass. I did a full video on it. If you guys are interested, it's a bit further down on my channel. I'll find it, I'll link it below. And when I do actually do my makeup the way that he said to do in that masterclass, it does make a huge difference. It's just sometimes I don't have the time to really sit down and do it exactly like that. If you haven't watched the video and you go and watch it now, my lip fillers in that video, they're really like not living their best life. It's so funny. It's things like that that's not till you look back on it years later and I just think, oh my god, I can't believe my lip filler was that bad. It's actually mental. I'm also just going and setting sort of everywhere else that needs it at the moment. I love watching, I feel like it's so satisfying to watch the setting powder go on and you just sort of watch the skin just like mattify and look really like flawless. It actually feels weird using this amount of powder because I just haven't got like fully glam in so long. I feel like now that on obviously Monday we'll be allowed to eat inside, woot woot, no more having to like sit outside in the freezing cold pretending that we're not cold. I can't wait to get dressed up properly and go for dinner. It's gonna be great. Just set the bottom bit of my face. I'm just using a slightly bigger brush. This is the NYX 02 brush. I think we are looking nice and set now, I would say. Right, what we're going to do next, shall we do? I think I'll finish off the skin makeup and then I'll go back to eyes. So obviously for a bit more contour, I'm going to use the Laura Mercier translucent medium deep, I can't speak today, for just enhancing my contour a little bit more. And then basically I'm just putting it exactly where I put the contour, but I'm really like lightly, my hand's quite light when I do this. I do tend to put a little bit more of the product though on the sort of my temple to really blend in with that eyeshadow. So before I put blush on, I'm just going to bake. So for this I'm using that Dose of Colours sponge that's got the real sort of like pointy end to it because I love, it's so good at getting like right along the edge of my nose. It's such a good sponge for baking. I really, really like it. And I'm literally just going to focus it there. I feel like I just use the baking these days to like create a bit more of like a snatched nose contour. So I'm using, this is the Tarte Quick Stick. This is in the colour Bronze Luster. So I'm going to use the sort of eyeshadow stick end, which is just a really nice soft brown. And I'm going to focus it in the corner of my lash line. This is the step where I feel like it takes the makeup from sort of a bit more of a day glam to a night glam. So you don't actually really need to do this step if you want to go for a bit more of a day makeup look. Because I always feel like when you define the lash line and give it a little bit more depth, that's definitely what makes the makeup look a bit more sort of evening vibe. Oh, and then the brush I'm using to blend this out with is it's like a little angled brush. It's from that Pretty Little Thing eye set that I was talking about at the beginning. And then I'm going to use the other end of that, which is a black end. It's sort of a bit like a felt tip liner, the other end, but I still like to blend it out with the angled brush. So I'm just defining it a little tiny bit more, and then I'm going to use the angled brush again to bring it out into more of a wing. But I'm going for like much more of a straight wing for today's makeup, just because I feel like the eyeshadow is like quite straight as well. And then obviously I'm going to do the straight brow, and then it just sort of all works because it's going in the same direction essentially. So moving on to lashes, and these are the ones that I'm super excited about. So these are the Kiss Falscara I don't know if you guys have heard of them before. I hadn't, and I'm now obsessed with them. So the ones that I love to use are the lengthening wisp. So I get the multi-pack because you get loads in there. And you basically have a product that bonds it onto your lashes and then another one that seals it. So it's honestly unbelievable. It works so well. They are the easiest things to put on and the easiest things to take off. You just need to make sure you've got the false scar remover. I basically just hold it on my lashes and then they just slide off. I think they look even better than semi-permanent lash extensions. They are honestly amazing. So I start with a longer one on the outer corner and then I do 2 mediums, and that's normally all I need, and it just really enhances your lashes. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to apply the bond end of this, sort of like a mixture of a lash glue and a mascara, because you put it on your actual lashes. But just like a light layer, I don't go too crazy with it. This is honestly when I wish I had a camera that zoomed in. It's one of my most annoying things. I've got this amazing lens that I film my videos with, which like honestly cost me an arm and a leg, but it doesn't zoom in. But it's like, it's amazing quality. It's just honestly so irritating because it doesn't zoom in. So then I've picked up one of the little tiny lashes, as you can see here, using tweezers, and then I'm just going to place it underneath my lashes, so it goes underneath and then it just stays on. Honestly, it's an absolute game changer. And like, I have to be really silent when I do that. It's like putting on winged liner. So that's number 1 on. As you can see, I literally just like placed it on. They're really not hard to do. I'm going to get 2 medium length ones. And you just sort of make your way along. I mean, obviously you can keep going. You can add like more than 3 if you want to. But I just think for me personally, the way my sort of natural lashes sit, 3 is a nice amount. It covers a good amount of my lashes. And it's still like, they just look so natural. Honestly, they look so, so natural, these. So then you just let them sort of sit for a bit, and then I'll coat the seal over the top. I'm just going to come really close to the camera lens so I can show you guys sort of the difference and how natural they actually look. Okay, this is hilarious. I'm so close. But you can see that they literally just fill out your natural lashes. They look so natural and they stay on all day. They're not irritating. You don't even realise they're there. Honestly, they are a game changer. They're so good. Once you've got them on, you just brush the seal end over them. So underneath you just put the seal and then that will keep them in place. Okay, so both eyes have been lashed up. I'm just going to get rid of the powder that was baking under my eyes. And also I just wanted to say, you do get, I would say, you definitely get 2 uses out of each little lash, because when you take them off obviously carefully, and they come off really easily and then you can reuse it. I have managed to get 3 uses out of one little lash, but I would say that's the maximum before they then go a bit crusty and you can't really use them again. So just to finish up the face makeup, I'm actually going to use this peachy colour that was in that e.l.f. Jen Atkin palette for blusher. And then I'm just using, to apply that, I'm going to put this is a Spectrum A05 brush. Oh, that's a really nice shade. I love when you use something and then it comes out and you're like, oh, that's so nice. Nothing worse is there. Especially at this stage, when you get to the end of your makeup and you might try something new or use like a new product and then you put it on and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. It's one of the worst feelings actually. So I haven't really got much else to do apart from add a little bit of highlight. For this I'm going to use this Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Italian Summer Face Palette. I'm going to use that colour in the middle there, which is like the sort of pearlescent highlighter colour. I haven't actually used this one yet, but I thought I would try it out and see the vibe. Oh, it's nice. It's like a little subtle highlight. It's not too strong. And then I'm just going to put a tiny bit across the centre of my face and across my brow bones, the top of them, along my nose and the end of my nose. So lastly for eyes, I'm just going to put a little bit of mascara on my bottom lashes, but a really like light coating. And I love the Glossier mascara for this because it's not too heavy. It's really good for your under eyelashes. So there we go, guys, all done. The lipstick that I put on is of course MAC Strip Down and the Anastasia Beverly Hills one in Tease. My favourite lip combo. I honestly just don't ever change from it. I really should mix it up, but it's just never going to happen. I also set my face with the Morphe. This is the Continuous Setting Mist. The reason I love this one is it actually does come out like almost like an aerosol. Oh, with this. I'm now sat in a mist. But yeah, it's really good. So yeah, so there we go. That is the finished makeup. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this one and you found it useful. I will of course list all the products below with the shade names and all that sort of stuff. Give the video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed watching this one, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.